gel nails, everything beauty in one place.
Wow, so it's like a full spa and salon in one?
Exactly. The vibe is luxurious, the staff are professional, and both men and women go there. Now, the thing is, for every service you get at this spa, it's going to come with a generous discount. Once you experience it, you understand why it's called Gentle Touch.
I'm booking my session today.
Exactly. Please do that. And for you to book your session, call 080-9269-9269. Another number to reach out is 090-2410-6881. You can also visit them at number 2 Bolton Street, Sun City Estate, here in Abuja. Girl, go book that session. You will thank me later because everyone deserves the gentle touch.
Gentle Touch Spa and Salon. Luxury for everybody.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
It is exactly 6 minutes gone past the hours 9 on the AM side, and yes, it's another time to go conversational, politically, as well as looking into matters that border around and about current affairs. My name is Udwak Daniel. This is Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Yes, we give you that audio, visual, television, radio experience that you can count on anytime, any day. And we say this in strong authority because we've got the bragging right. And yes, you gave us that bragging right, and we don't take it for granted. Now, basically, we are streaming live. Pari Pursue what you hear on TV. You can match the voice with the face as well as the ambience that the studio provides as you go on YouTube right now. Eagles TV Abuja on Facebook. It is Eagles FM Abuja, and we can indeed have a conversation in this very regard. Right. Now, some particularness is very necessary in the discourse this morning, as we will indeed get very, very conversational this morning. But first, let us just go on this very short break. We will be back with more. Okay, just had to go on that very, very short break just to ensure that everything is all right from this end. Right. Well, we're looking at the EFCC flagging off varsity fraud, students' fees diverted, and AI has been proposed to fix it. I mean, the EFCC flags varsity fraud, students' fees diverted, and the AI being some sort of solution to fix the matter. It is quite concise and it really reaches out deeply. I mean, if you recall that sometime when there was that initiative to allow for student loan. Yes, Nigerians were happy, students were happy. Some held their reservation and all about its worthiness, whether or not it will indeed find premise with those to whom it is intended. However, we have seen it kick off. We've seen it flag off. I mean, it's about the particularness of this conversation is about the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Olao Lukoyede, raised an alarm over financial infractions in Nigerian universities, and he was speaking in Kano. And that was on Tuesday, April 29 of 2026 at the 8th biennial conference of the Committee of Pro-Chancellors of State Universities in Nigeria. So he said that EFCC investigations uncovered inflated contracts, ghost workers, diversion of students' fees in tertiary institutions nationwide. So it's not just about one institution, it's not about a region of the country. No, it is in diverse, in fact, in institutions. In other words, it means there's a lot of institutions right there engaging in this unwholesome act. Now, he described each case as a betrayal of trust placed by parents, students, as well as taxpayers. Now, if you recall that in 2012, the federal government's Committees on Needs Assessment of Nigerian Public Universities, which was led by Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, found that 73% of universities had abandoned projects despite receiving billions, right? Now, if I take you to 2017 now, I can tell you that the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, sued 25 federal universities, right, over failure to account for 11 billion naira TED fund allocations. That was in 2017, right? Now, let's bring you to 2020, where the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, reported 61 infractions in federal universities, and that is including salary padding and contract inflation. Well, let's add 3 years to 2020 and have it away from the COVID era into 2023. Where the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, went on an 8-month strike, partly over lack of accountability for 1.3 trillion naira revitalization funds. All right, that was something at the time. Yeah, the problem has progressed from missing chalk in 2009 to missing billions in 2026. Oh yeah, back in the day it used to be, oh, there's a chalkboard missing, there's a chalk, box missing and all. There is this water pen, right? Missing and all of that. I mean, these were the things that we knew within the education sector. There's a textbook that is written boldly not to be sold. We don't have it anymore, and we see it in markets, and they're selling it to parents, to students, and all of that. And these were donations not to be sold to foster education. But right now in 2026, oh, we're not talking about chalks being missing now. We're talking billions missing. So, what are the factors if you look at it from the economic, political, and social angles? Well, economically though, yeah, universities manage multi-billion naira budgets, and that's fact. Tuition, TED fund, grants, IGR, and all of that. TED fund alone disbursed 320 billion naira in 2023 to tertiary institutions. Politically though, governing councils are appointed by state governors, and this is creating loyalty conflicts. That's politically. Socially, let's look at it from the place where when fees meant for labs are diverted, students graduate half-baked. Little wonder we have seen where employers of labor in this very time and age have said that we don't have employable graduates. Oh yeah, I mean, if these graduates didn't have the tools while they were in school, which supposedly they're supposed to have these tools, in fact, get very, very confident with these tools, get very used to these tools and usage and everything, they don't have access to it. I see it only in pictures, in theory, and they've not had practice. What do you expect? Is it about the graduate or is it about the institution in itself? Well, if you recall that in 2024, 45% of Nigerian graduates were unemployable, all right? And this is per National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, partly due to poor facilities. So it brings us to three major talking points, and we will be having that conversation with Sir Benedict Olaleko Agunloye. He's an information professional, and he's a policy personnel too, and he will indeed look into these matters and probably unravel it, for us, unpack it, so we can have a better understanding of what this conversation is. If the EFCC chair is decrying that monies that are meant for the promotion, the quality of delivering good education, sound education to Nigerians and Nigerian students are being diverted, are being stolen, mishandled, misappropriated. I mean, give it any word that you want to give it. It just boils down to stolen. Because I don't know why the Constitution has these clauses: misappropriation and embezzlement. Diverted. I don't even know why. I mean, say something is stolen, is stolen. Because these... Okay. Well, anyways, let's leave it there. Right. So, if the EFCC is saying that, it means that there is more to it than meets the eye, right? And that also goes on to telling us that, look, this is something that we should talk about, because if these monies are being stolen or being diverted or misappropriated or embezzled or hidden somewhere away, right, what then is the hope of these students indeed going to school and finishing rightly, right? I mean, first of all, we already know we have an issue when it comes to the quality of tools in terms of laboratories, in terms of theater halls and all of that. We already have that as an issue, right? But then, if we now look deeply into it, can we really afford to have these monies that have been put together in good hopes that the universities will indeed use it for the purpose for which it was meant, being misallocated, misappropriated, embezzled, disappear into thin air? What does it now say about us as a people? Because in this instance, would somebody tell me that this is the government? Or maybe the government to universities, but not the government's governments, if you know what I'm saying. Not the federal government. Because the initiator of this initiative put it together in goodwill, so that we don't have graduates saying, or students who are in school, maybe for one reason or the other, they say, we cannot complete our education, there is no finances. So if universities can't account for students' fees, how do we trust them to produce accountants and auditors for Nigeria's economy? EFCC says AI can detect fraud. But if human beings running the universities lack integrity, can AI alone stop corruption when AI is not a human? How many AIs would we indeed, even if AI were human, how many AIs would we have to deter these humans who have decided that they are inimical to progress from doing or exhibiting the nefarious attitude? With TED Fund, tuition, grants running into billions, Why do hostels still lack water and labs like microscopes in 2026? That is on the one hand. And yet on the sidelines, we are having strikes here and there, every day, every now and then. We are looking into MOUs, and ASU is calling out the federal government at every point in time that it has the opportunity to do so, talking about how they've not paid their arrears, or they've not paid certain monies, how their salaries is too meager, considering the economic reality, as if they're just the only ones who are going through it, when they've not even handled their own home. I mean, why is it always a problem that we will always know how to point one finger at the other person and totally ignore the other four fingers that is pointing right back at us? I mean, I don't mean to deviate though, but look at all the political parties. Internal crisis here and there. Nobody's talking about that. But of course, the one that is ruling is the real enemy. So let's point our fingers at that one. But the one that's going on with them in their respective parties, no, they're playing politics with it. They're trying to hide it. They're trying to put it below. They're trying to make it seem insignificant. Is our thing. We will handle it as a family. Really? Now, I'm not holding brief or supporting a ruling party or the APC. I'm just telling you, giving you how this thing look or how it pans out. I mean, think of a university as a big family business. Parents pay school fees like monthly contributions for soup. Ted Fund gives extra money like an uncle sending support. But some uncles, the bosses, the contractors, they share the soup money before it reaches the pot. So students eat Gary without sugar. No lab, no hostel, no light. And yet there is still the conscience of graduating such a student, and you say in character and in learning. So it makes one want to laugh out loudly. Where exactly are we here? What are we talking about here? So EFCC is now saying, let's install CCTV in the kitchen so that CCTV is AI. But if the cook and the thief are friends, will the CCTV work? I mean, that's the real question, right? But I'm glad that he mentioned this at the 8th Biennial Conference of Committee of Pro-Chancellors of State Universities in Nigeria, Kano. I'm glad that was where he said it, so they hear it. But then some other person will want to question, what actions are we taking then? Are we just going to go on at events and tell them? Are we going to probe? Are we going to look into the matter? Would it just stop at just telling them and saying, after all, I've told you, and that's it, and you walk away? Say, my conscience is clear. What should be the next point of action? Because the EFCC findings uncovered inflated contracts. That's on the one side. So you might want to think about this very deeply. Ghost workers. If you also recall that, I think under the Tinubu administration, of course, yes, Mr. President, in his wisdom too as well, he tried to ensure that ghost workers are rid from payroll. I mean, people are outside the shores of this country and still collecting huge salaries right here in Nigeria. Resign, no. Leave the position, no. But they connive with the Oga and they travel out. And Oga, you'll take this part, me, I'll take the other part. And then we're so quick at pointing at the leaders. Leadership is the problem. Maybe we are the problem. Each case represented not only a loss of public funds, but also a betrayal of trust that Nigerian parents, students, taxpayers have placed in the university system. So is AI magic? Because the AI was proposed that we should adopt artificial intelligence for fraud detection, automated auditing, payroll, monitoring, procurement and all of that. Is AI a magic wand? Is it all the solution ever that even the EFCC can come up with? No matter how sophisticated that technology might be, its effectiveness ultimately depends on the integrity of the human beings who will utilize the tools. So I'd like to hear from you. What exactly will be your thoughts on this? Here we are, on the one hand, universities across the country are saying we have not been fully attended to. We've had MOUs with the government. We have placed the demands, and yet the government has not come through. And now there's been a recent memorandum of understanding, which of course both parties say, oh, we are okay with that. Implementation again becomes an issue because we heard from the good Professor Kamal Bello, telling us sometimes last week how that though agreements have been reached, execution has been, so to speak, selective or probably slow. Most of the lecturers whose salaries we've been told by the federal government have been increased, they've not been increased. They've not had their salaries increased, not yet. And then within the university systems, we're still seeing this type of extortion going on, this type of thing happening. I don't know. And then we expect the students to be better. Then they come out as graduates and they go out for interviews and the employers are still saying that, oh, they're not employable. So it raises some concerns for me, though. It does raise some concerns for me. Well, let's connect with Sir Benedict and just have a say in the discourse. Sir Benedict, good morning. Is it okay to reach back with you now?
Yes.
Okay, let me reach back to you. Okay, Sir Benedict there, been having an ish, just trying to reach out to him there, but I'm glad he has been able to come through at this point, right? But while we are connecting with Sir Benedict, let us hear from you still. Hello, good morning. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
Hello.
Yeah, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Please, I want to know this affair.
Okay, well, this probably you should wait till the evening, my brother and friend. All right, and Honorable Appel will be here. All right, Sir Benedict, let's hear from you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, go ahead. Talk to us. I mean, here we are again, the EFCC uncovering how monies have been somewhat misappropriated and within the university structure and system. That's on the one hand. And we have seen how ASU have gone head on with the federal government in recent times, calling the federal government a deal breaker, because the federal government over the years have reached separate or different MOUs, MOAs, and have never come through in terms of your arrears, in terms of your salary increment and all of that, which recently both parties have come together and said, okay, we are fine now. Federal government said we'll increase your salaries and it will be payable. Yet some of them still say they've not been paid up until now. But within the university system, there is this type of fraud that is still ongoing, where monies, taxpayers' monies, our monies, are being put into different use, and it does call for concern. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you, please. What's your name?
My name is
GB. GB, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Winte.
Talk to us, GB.
Good morning to my brother there.
Right.
Your guest there.
Right.
It's my brother. When I say my brother, it's my brother.
Okay.
For your information, I went to the same university.
Oh,
I
okay.
see the quality of contribution, the quality of analysis we are getting from it. So I will stop there.
All right. Let's get into it, GB. Let's get into it.
Somebody I know, like I pop my hand.
Okay.
So I thought that it's robust, intelligent method is good.
Right.
Let me tell you something. If you get to the stage of putting more than AI in the university, then it is implemented. The AI is talking about is not hardware AI. It is software AI. And the career I see this when things are automated, underline, automated, processes, when we start carrying file, carrying paper, when approval is online, signature are there, you have to get some, like this OTP before you approve something. And when you put in those check and balances, AI will detect something. Because AI will know that, look, somebody raised a memo. This is where the memo is going. There's a point. Somebody tries to do something, either to add, to replace. AI will call it. Without that, the AI cannot function. People are still manual in our operation. If our processes and approval is still manual, then forget about AI. And that's the level we should go to now. And the presidency here in the federal government is started it, even though not to the last stage. Now they'll tell you, oh, you want to send coming to us, file, you send to this email, send to this email. So that they can monitor. Nobody, by the time you ask somebody, nobody can just keep your file and say, this contractor is bigger for 200 million. Let me have my own now before you approve. By the time a file, somebody brings a file to you electronically, and you have to approve within 24 hours, and it passed to 26 hours. AI is flagged up. They will raise alarm. And they will query, why are you still keeping this file? If you refuse, it will be on record. What I'm saying is that it is easy for EFCC to trace, to track corruption. That this is where it happens. You know that human being will still operate this AI. Then it will be easier for EFCC.
Hello? Oh, okay, GB. Seems like the network has begun malfunctioning. But let's get back with our guest now. Are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, welcome back. All right, GB has just put his voice out there. It says this AI that will be installed is not like it's not like any other kind of AI. But Nigerians and family members are asking one question: if EFCC has been investigating Varsity fraud since 2012, why is the same story repeating in 2026?
Now, I think that what we are talking about here is obviously not the new discovery, but the thing that is happening in the academic sector, where we expect the best of intellectual capacity, I think is
what you do shortly.
Okay, Sabi, can you hear me? Can you
Yeah,
hear
I
me?
can hear you.
So the background noise is not helping us hear you correctly.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to move away.
Okay, thank you. Right. Okay. Are we good now? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay,
Is
so
it better?
now this is good, yes. This is good. Talk to us.
Yeah, is it better?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so what I'm saying is, it's not surprising that such an event will occur. But what makes it surprising is that it will happen in the academic sector where you have all the heads. But what that also tells us is that no sector or system within the nation is totally free from manipulation and untoward activity. And that in practical reality also, no sector can be entirely trusted to do what is right without monitoring and control.
Okay.
So simply put, I think there is that saying that as the power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Now, the Vice Chancellor is so much power. Now, the Vice Chancellor is so much power that if no other needs in place to check what happens in the university system, then there can be perpetual endemic corruption. So I think we should say kudos to EFCC for coming up with this. And of course, as to the suggestion of subjecting the academic sector any to what we would call AI scrutiny or AI monitoring will be a very welcome development. In which case, we are always sure how the money comes in, and then there is also a follow-up to train how that the money that comes in is being used or where they are housed. So we are able to check their warehousing, we are able to check their usage. And I think that being that, you will get a better value.
Right. Okay,
and
Sabi.
you get a better control system.
Yes, Sabi. If universities are diverting students' fees, what moral rights do you think they have to expel a student for exam malpractice? Because
Now,
from what the EFCC is saying, there has been an inflation. There's been an inflation of monies that they say they buy. Take for example, they bought they need a microscope. It is 80 million naira, and they tell you they bought it for 220 million naira.
Now, what we need to look at this is that are these issues new? The answer is no. Now, I am in information profession to an extent. I love archive records to an extent. And I will remember that in one of my interactions with archives about 20 years ago, I read a 1975 story of the university teaching hospital Ibadan, where somebody went on leave and somebody took over to replace and discovered drugs were shipped there. They were just about maybe 20 cover, 25 cover, and they realized that there were inflation was like 2 cover, 3 cover. You understand? But it tells you that inflating prices and then manipulation is not new to us. It's something that has been here forever. Just that the scale and the percentage and the level of greed of people who are involved in this thing has been on the perpetual increase. So it is not strange for someone like me to hear such stories. It is not strange to see such events. However, what we need to do therefore is to look at what are the proactive means by which these things can be controlled. So we possibly are going to be looking at more like a quarterly, transparent, automatic audit, right?
Yeah.
Transparent, automatic audit. Now, when you say automatic audit, it means that you are not keeping them away from doing their job. Everybody should just do what they need to do. But the information flows into a platform where there can be comparison, where you know what money has gone into this account, what the money has been used for. You understand? Without calling or finding anybody around. Now, where you think anything suspicious has happened, then the internal auditor can trigger an audit action so that physical documents are now submitted to back it up. You see, I remember back in the university, we had, that was student union. At the time when money, of course, was still good, we collect 20,000 per student, 20 naira per student.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that in a particular collection cycle, while we were expected to have collected 43,000 naira in all, 22,000 naira has been stolen by just one person. I didn't figure what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We were collecting the money, and who was meant to handle the deposition of the money into the bank. And then suddenly we just called for a report. And then we got a report that indicated that only 21,000 naira had reached the bank. 22,000 had already won. Did not get there. What has happened to you? We said we did this for the boys, we did that. No, that is now at student level. We're talking about students in 200, 300 level. Right? Now just imagine more than 50% of what is to be collected. Now when we launched the investigation that time, I also remember, we discovered that apart from the 43 that we have even captured, he has printed extra receipts and was also collecting money from Jambank, who then were paying 50 naira instead of 20. So these things are not new. So our concern and our thought should be more focused on how best to ensure that is mutual accountability, joint accountability, so that there will be more than one person who sees the transaction through. Now, I think that there are organizations today where you think about things to get a lot. Maybe those are associations anyway, in which case when monies are collected, you know who has collected what. And if you are not properly informed, you are in a position to ask questions. Mr. Chairman or Mr. Treasurer, why did this collection happen? Or how was this transaction authorized that I did not get to know about? So there is a place for that mutual accountability. There is a need for that transparent recording aspect, where people, all authorized acts, people who are authorized to see the record, are the ones who will be given the access. So when they have that access, then they can always monitor.
Right.
And if there are breaches, it can be highlighted.
Right.
But without that, if we continue in silence, then there will continue to be problems.
All right, a conversation is still trending on here on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. You want to add your voice in it or on it, want to jump on it? Well, you can as well talk to us. I mean, let us know how you feel when you hear that there has been matters that concern the betrayal of trust, where monies have been indeed inflated, right? And there is also the place of ghost workers within the academia. How does it really make you feel? Does it tingle, or does it just put a smile on your face? Well, talk to us, because just recently the EFCC chairman, while attending a function somewhere in Kano, had spoken to vice chancellors of state universities, and he put it right there on to their faces, telling them how they have been misappropriating these monies, you know, how investigations have been in there about ghost workers, and how, you know, investigations also show how monies have been inflated, how the students have been cheated out. But then we keep hearing how. And Nigerians are saying, what then is next? What is the prosecution like? Stick to the number 0907 353 0044. 0907 353 0044, and have your say loudly and clearly in the arena of politics and current affairs this morning. Don't forget the WhatsApp portal is there for you, and it will be 0909 705 4450. On Facebook, the television is also there for you, and that will be Eagles FM Abuja. On YouTube, it is Eagles TV Abuja. Now, I'd like to bring the story of one 200 level microbiology student of a university in the northeastern part of Nigeria into case study. Now, I would not be mentioning the name of the students as well as the university. However, in January of 2025, her parents paid 95,000 naira school fees and 30,000 naira lab levy, so totaling 125,000 naira. So by March of 2026, her department still had no functional microscope. And according to her, the head of the department said TED fund money has not dropped, but Chidima's course rep saw a memo. TED fund released 220 million naira for lab upgrade in June of 2024. EFCC later finds the contract was inflated. 80 million naira microscope bought for 220 million naira, and only 2 delivered instead of 10. So you have a situation where students that are even privileged to seeing that microscope, how they will indeed be struggling for the attention to use it. And then in that way, how then do you think that when such a student graduates, he or she would be able to indeed maneuver the microscope satisfactorily? Now, it goes on to say, showing that the balance went into private accounts. The unaccounted for balance, the inflated balance, is going into private accounts. Now, she's now sharing one microscope with 60 students. Now, she failed the practical. Her father borrowed money to pay fees again. That's the reality now. So that 220 million naira diversion is the betrayal of trust Olukoyede is speaking about. This is the human face of ghost workers and diverted fees. Parents lose money, students lose future. Nigeria is losing skill on a daily. So how does a university pay 200 ghost lecturers monthly while ASU is complaining of staff shortage? TED Fund gave 320 billion naira in 2023. Why are 70% of Nigerian universities still without modern labs? Because the implication is graduates can't compete globally. Nigeria is ranked 124th in Global Innovation Index 2020. That was what we in 2023. That's what we were. In 2020, yeah, in 2023, yes, that's what we were. So where are we now? No wonder we don't even have, as we will say locally, we don't get levels. When it comes to our universities, no, we don't have it. We're nowhere. We're nowhere. Some African countries even. But there's another concern. I mean, if the VC and Bursa control the AI password, wouldn't they disable fraud alerts? Just saying. Pro-chancellors are appointed by governors. Will they indict their benefactors? I mean, if a school tolerates contract fraud, how does it punish a student who buys grades? Whether in cash or in kind. How do you punish a student who buys grades if you as the institution is supposed to lead by example, instill values and character? You tolerate contract fraud. And then, of course, parents are paying 125,000 naira, but students share microscope with 60 others. Is that not 419? And so tomorrow will come about and come. You know, the funny thing is, are we really serious? Are we serious as a people, as a country? Sabi, I know you've given some solutions already, though, but do you have any line of thoughts to add to this as we call it a close?
No, the line of thought has always been this, that it's easy for us to accuse the federal government, but we've not seen us do enough to engage the university as it relates to what we do with the money, both from the NDC and from tech funds. A lot of tech funds projects are overinflated and do not perform to standard. And that's what we're seeing when it comes to financial flow system. Let's have mercy, let's have mercy, let's have curiosity or whatever you call the senior staff and the university management on the template and the board where they can board the deal or they have access to what are the inflows and what are the outflows for what purpose. At that point, it will now be open if there are what we call good workers, if there are overinflated contracts and stuff like that. Okay. Then, of course, at the level of procurement, I think that there should be a national index. I should not be buying a car for 1 million and you are buying it for 10 million and then people is buying it for 2 billion. There should be a national price market. There should be sales possibly by body of public procurement, such that if you are buying anything using government money on behalf of the government, you go to that price match and you cannot go outside the price tag that is stated there. So there is a price range for every item. I think that we need to have that national platform. We need to have that conversation done. And between the body of public procurement, the manufacturers and the market space, that platform should exist so that you know that if you are buying for the government, if you are buying this specification, irrespective of whether you are in NMPC or CBN or you are in the Ministry of Education, the price should be comparable. And until we get to such point, I think that we will not be doing justice to making corruption in the areas of procurement.
Right. Well, many thanks. Thank you so much, Sir Benedict, for always having your voice out here and giving us comprehensive wisdom on matters that concern national growth and development. Thank you. We appreciate your thoughts. Right. And that is Sir Benedict right there. I mean, it just goes on to telling you that, look, if something is not done in every sector, if we don't begin to change our mindset, our attitude, and all of that, we will not go far with this fight against corruption. We will not go far with renewing our minds. We will not go far in bringing positive change and adapting to development, to growth, to prosperity. That is it. Now, so many, I see your call coming in through the number that I never gave, but I'm sorry I couldn't take that call, but still, this is where the conversation comes to a close. Don't worry, on the flip side of 10, I'll be right back here with the general open banter, and there is a conversation that has to do with money transfer. You'll find out in the course of the show.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.